answering all of your questions. Okay, if you have any questions for me, anything regarding finance, retirement, insurance, generational wealth, wealth building, um, anything related to money in South Africa, we can talk about it. Two-bar system, I know TikTokers are very big on that. You guys want to withdraw your retirement funds, settle debt. One lady I saw that she wants to do a kitchen. All right, so just don't give in to instant gratification. So I have a bunch of questions that some of you have sent me. I'm going to answer those questions and hopefully you guys get value from it. If you have any further questions, anything you need me to expand on with my answers or have something unrelated to the questions I'm answering, simply type it up. I'll be happy to answer it for you. All right, so somebody messaged me earlier today and said, I'm retiring soon and I have no debt. Should I withdraw the 1/3? And if I do, what should I do with the 1/3? Okay, great place to be, no debts, right? You don't want to go into retirement taking on any kind of debt is really going to be a bother to you. So this is a great place for this person to be. If it was me, I had no debt, I would definitely take out the 1/3. But that also depends on my previous withdrawals. Remember, every South African has that limit of 550 that you are able to withdraw tax. So if in the previous job you withdraw 50,000 or anything like that, you are able to withdraw your that is deducted from your 550, and then you can take the balance of that tax free. Everything else is taxed on a sliding scale. Right. So yeah, I take that 550. What would I do with it? I'd invest it. All right. And how would I invest it? Firstly, I would like to take advantage of the various exemptions. The first exemption I'd like to take advantage of would be the interest exemption. So I'll take a portion of the 1/3 or that 550. I'll put it into interest bearing, either in the bank, okay, or even unit trust based interest bearing products where I can maximize my 23,800 Rand if I'm under 65. If I'm over 65, my interest exemption is 34,800 Rand. So that's 34,000 Rand free every year, tax free every year. And that's what I would like to maximize. If I didn't already have a tax free investment, I'd slowly start bringing up that tax-free investment. And inside that tax-free investment, I could also be in interest-bearing as well, because I would like the fixed amount of money, the interest from that coming to me tax-free in addition to my interest exemption. So I'd like to play around with that and maximize all of the interest wherever I can. The next thing is I would look at unit trusts. Maybe I'll take a portion, be very aggressive and try to grow that. Take 50,000, try to turn it into 100,000 in 2 or 3 years, and the balance. I want to be very conservative with it to make it last as long as I possibly could. All right, and also with the unit trusts, also with the banks, depending on the nature of the fixed deposit I use, I would want liquidity. Because remember, the 2/3 will go into an annuity that I can't ever have access to as a lump sum. So if I don't have any other money, that 1/3 will be the only lump sum that I have available. Right, so I want to have it liquid. Unit trust is great to have it liquid. Also, tax-free investment, great to have it liquid as well. All right, I saw somebody type up a question. Let me see. Okay. Let me see if I can answer your questions as of I go along. But I don't know how this thing works. I don't do TikTok lives so much. You're going to have to answer you after the session. Oh, well, somebody else typed a question here. So please type your comments in this little chat instead of my DMs. Is that dependent on my payment brackets? Okay, I'm lost through that. I am not really sure what you're referring to. The next question. If I passed away during my retirement years, what happens to the money, the post-retirement money? All right, so this is what I would do. First thing, you need to understand what happens at retirement. Okay, at retirement, you will have the option of using your 2/3 lump sum to go into a life annuity or a living annuity. Now, the life annuity, how it would work is you'd go to the company, investment company, life company, and every week they have various rates. All right, and we'll see who has the best rate. And essentially, how it works is if you have R1 million, and we'll go to this company and say, okay, have R1,000,000. What's your rate on your life annuity? And they'll say, okay, we'll give you 5,000 Rand a month every month until you pass away. You could live for 5 years. You can live for 10 years. You can live for 20 years. You'll get your 5,000 Rands a month. Now, there are variables that you could play with. You could say, I want 5,000 Rand a month, plus I want it increasing every year according to inflation, right? You have all of those options. The downside is once you pass away, then lump sum is gone. Your R1,000,000 is gone. So if you pass away in 2 years, that's it. You get your 5,000 Rand a month for 2 years, that lump sum is gone. All right, so lots to think about. If you live long, 20, 25, 30 years, that's more than R1,000,000. So it's a win, but nobody knows when you're going to go. So it's important to get advice at this time, do calculations, and know what all your options are. There's also a hybrid model as well. We're not going to go into that today. The next option you have is a living annuity. You're a little bit more flexible here, where you take your R1,000,000 or however much you have and you buy a living annuity. And the living annuity is an investment. You invest in the market, no restrictions as to where you can invest in. It can be as aggressive or as conservative as you want. And you can make withdrawals anywhere from 2.5% to 17.5%. Obviously, the higher you withdraw, the less or the shorter time that money is going to last you, because there's less money in that investment. And the lower that you withdraw, the greater the potential to grow and live off the returns instead of eating into the capital. All right. So if you're a life annuity, when you pass away, nobody is getting anything. Right. If you are in a living annuity, now you have an option at the point of application. You put your beneficiaries. You can change your beneficiaries at any time. And then your beneficiaries will be able to say, okay, we want a lump sum. And if they don't choose a lump sum, they'll be taxed according to the retirement tax tables. Or if they want to continue with receiving an annuity income, that annuity will be paid to them monthly, and then that income will be added to their gross income, and then they will be taxed according to the personal tax table. As I'm not inviting people on this live. All right. So that's what happens to your retirement money. It doesn't go back to the state unless you're a GPF. That's different in how you take care of your GOG. But if you have private money, if you're in a living annuity, it will go to your beneficiaries. And that being said, a life annuity is not a bad product. You can take a combination of a life and a living annuity to give you some peace of mind, some guaranteed income. And usually people with low amounts during retirement, they would prefer a life annuity. All right, any more questions for me? Relating to money, not my eyes. Please explain the two-pot system. Please tell me how RA works. Is it happening in September? Okay, so as the last bit of information is, yeah, it's happening in September, but I don't know how reliable that is because it is the government, right? Please explain the two-pot system. Please the aircon. Okay, so the two-pot system. The two-pot system is basically part of the retirement reform, okay? Part of the retirement reform, lots of things that have been happening over the last decade or so, and I think this is the second to the last step of the retirement reform. It's not a bad thing, all right? What they're saying is they're allowing you to access your funds currently. You know, anything that's new, there's always a transition phase. There's always a lot of pain, and unfortunately, it's you guys with the pensions that are going to be feeling that pain. So it's a good system. It will allow you to access those funds. The downside is if you're accessing those funds for consumption, it's not your best thing. But if you have like a real good plan, you want to start a business, you want to start a side hustle, it's a great thing. So what government is saying that they're going to seed a portion of your old money into the savings pot, and you'll be able to access 30,000. I think it's 30,000 of that. I can't remember the figures, right? 30,000 in September 2024. That will obviously be taxed according to your tax table. So whatever your gross is, you add your tax you add your withdrawal onto that, and you'll be taxed accordingly. All right. Going forward is where the real value of the two-pot system is, because going forward from the 1st of September, your first contribution to pension, 2/3 will go into your pension pot and 1/3 will go into your savings pot. And that will build every year. And it's really nice for people that are just starting out their careers. They'll be able to access their pensions funds like really early. It can be used as a saving spot. The downside is if that pension savings pot is the only thing you have, you're going to be in trouble, right? But it's a nice backup that if in case something happens, you have that ability to withdraw those funds. You will be, there's a limit. You can't withdraw less than 2,500 rands from the savings pot, but anything over that, whatever's in there going forward after September the 1st, you'll be able to make a withdrawal once a year. I think the main pain on that two-pot system is it's only capped at 30,000 rands. All right, I think that's the pain point. I know it's been COVID has been horrible, but millions, trillions of rands are passing hands every single day. Do your bit into trying to attract some of that money. Yeah, I'm going to scroll all the way to the top. I see a lot of two-pot questions here, and I try and answer them all. How does an RA work? Okay, RA. Okay, let's say you earn R1 million, right? In South Africa, you have the ability to contribute 27.5% of your gross income into traditional retirement funds, such as an RA, such as a Provident or a pension. Provident now functions as a pension fund, right? Government is encouraging you to save towards retirement because they don't want you in the SASSA queue. And to encourage you to save, they give you these tax exemptions. So if you're earning R1 million, they say, hey, contribute maximum of 27.5%, and we won't tax you on R1 million, we'll tax you on 725. Right? Nobody earns around R1 million figure. It's hard to calculate in my head at this time of the night, but you can significantly reduce your taxes that way. The other benefit of the RA is the growth within that is tax-free. Although it's not a tax-free product, it's a tax-deferred product, so you will pay taxes there later on. Okay, and the biggest pain point about the RA is Regulation 28, where they are telling you, with a lot of things, they're giving you a lot of limits as to how you can invest, but the biggest pain is you can't invest more than 45% of your money offshore. All right, so you need, remember, financial products are not a solution. You need a strategy to drive that solution, and RA should be one of the products in your strategy in planning for retirement. Is it happening in September? As far as I know, yes. Guys, don't invite yourselves on my life. Thank you. The government is a waste. Yes, they are. How does the wealth bonus work? You're going to have to speak to a Sanlam advisor on that. That's actually financial advice, so speak to Sanlam. If you have like under 30K, how much can you withdraw? Are you referring to the two-pot system? So what will happen is, I think it's only 10% or 15% of whatever your pension value is being transferred into that savings pot. If your RA or pension is your RA is under 17, you can make a full withdrawal prior to retirement. Do they tax the 30K? Yes, they will be taxing it. So they will tax it as per your marginal rate. So if you are sitting on the upper end of your tax bracket, taking that 30% might just push you over into a next or a higher tax bracket. So it's important to do some calculations before you make those withdrawals. So sit with your advisor, do some calculations. Sit with your work advisor, because they're the ones that are administering your pension funds. What does diversification mean with investing? So, there's different asset classes when it comes to investing. All right, things like cash is an asset class where you're holding cash, money markets, fixed deposits, property is an asset class, bonds is an asset class, commodities is an asset class, and then you have equities. So equities is the shareholding, very aggressive, very volatile, but in the long term, it can bring you some good results. So when you hear the term, you want a diversified portfolio, what they're referring to is they want you to have a mix of the various asset classes, because the asset classes traditionally perform differently in various circumstances. So when interest rates are high, the cash and the bonds asset class is a great place to be. And what the big institutional investors will do, they'll take all of their money out of equities and they'll put it into a cash because interest rates are high. They're making guaranteed money as opposed to being in equities. It might or might not return in the short term. So when you diversified, you just basically spread your risk, basically. Also, crypto has now become an asset class on its own. All right, any questions, you can type it up and I'll answer them for you. Okay, the next thing, is a fixed deposit a good option for retirees? Is it a good option for retirees? So fixed deposit give you the benefit of having a fixed return. You're entering into the fixed deposit. You know what your return is going to be, 5%, 6%, 7%, 10%. You know that upfront. So having that stability and that safety of not losing your money is there. And if you can get those two things in another solution, that's where you want to be, because the downside is that this money is locked in for a longer period of time. If you want to get the good rates, you got to fix it for a longer period of time. So for retirees, it's always nice to know exactly how much it is you're getting, and the fixed deposit is very popular. The downside is if you pass away in a fixed deposit, those funds are now going into your estate, bringing up your death taxes. Whereas you could be in something like a guaranteed income where you invest your lump sum, you get income every month, and after 5 years, you get your entire lump sum back. Guaranteed, right? No risk at all, but then you don't have that liquidity. You could be in a unit trust. The unit trust, in that unit trust, you can pick interest-bearing portfolios and get your guaranteed income that way, but still have access to your money in 2 to 5 working days. Downside is the funds do go to the estate as well. So I think as a retiree, you're going to have to decide which is a bigger priority, guaranteed income or liquidity, and then take a decision, do a combination of a few. Just know that the content of this video is not financial advice. Please speak to your financial advisor. Is crypto taxed in South Africa? And if they are, how much will it be? That just depends. If you're trading crypto, and I think on the trades, they're taxing as personal income tax. Then the EFTs, I think when you withdraw, you're triggering capital gains. I'm not too sure about it. I just buy crypto and I hold. I don't really sell that. What are the benefits of offshore investments? So offshore investments, the benefit is you are investing in foreign currency because the rand is so weak and it's devaluing so fast. You have the benefit of shielding from a weak rand and hedging the rand by investing in dollars and investing in euros. And also because outside they're growing a lot faster than South Africa. Okay. So the benefits of offshore investment is, one is the rand hedge. You're shielding from the weak rand, because eventually if you choose to bring the dollars back into South Africa, they're going to be worth a lot more. The next benefit is depending on how you wrap that offshore investment. If you are buying shares, you're buying Tesla shares, Apple shares, yes, they're offshore, but if something happens to you, who deals with the probate? How is the probate done? The death taxes, how is it done? So you want to put it in a nice wrapper that allows for continuity and easy winding up of your estate, and to keep your estate taxes low. Because maybe now you need an offshore will. You just need to keep it tight and you need to keep it simple. Yeah, offshore investments. Okay, I have a bunch of messages and I don't know how to get it. What is the best long-term endowment policy? What is the best in the long-term endowment policy, or RA? Okay, long-term endowment, I like offshore endowments. I think they're a big win. RA, an RA, you want to be in a unit trust-based RA. Yeah, you want to be in a unit trust-based RA because they're flexible. If you're the life company is going to say, okay, 1,000 Rand a month, 2,000 Rand a month. And the month that you're stuck or you have an emergency and you can't make that RA payment, they're going to hit you with a big penalty. Whereas when you're in a unit trust-based RA, you can pause it for a month. You can pause it for 3 months. You can increase your 2,000 premium to 10,000 for 4 months and then bring it back to 2,000. It's very flexible. it's built according to your need and the realities of life, that we're gonna have those ups and downs with our finances, and you shouldn't be penalized for trying to manage your money well, like the life companies do. You spoke about the education investment policies and how they really don't meet one's needs. What's the other option can you suggest for education policies? I would say, remember that products are not a solution, so you need a strategy. So you need a strategy on how you're going to fund your kids' education. I like unit trusts because it's flexible. They are literally, maybe I think there's 1,800 funds to choose from in South Africa. You can be local, you can be offshore. You're not limited as to what you can invest in. If you only want to fund your kids' high school or their tertiary, so they're not time linked like in an endowment. And like I said, it's strategy that drives the solution. So if your kids are young, you're in this unit trust, you're in a hyper growth phase. So you're buying aggressive, you're buying equities. And as they age 16, 17, now you're switching to more conservative. And that same lump sum that you've started off with now is giving you income that can pay the monthly fees. Hopefully you don't deplete the capital. And then once you finish paying university, switch back to aggressive. Right? So remember that products are not the solution. It's strategy that drives the products. And also, it's your solution can either be investment based or risk based, or combination of the two. So a lot of the life companies have come up with these solutions where they say, so they basically cover the parent's life. If something happens to the parent, they will pay, whether it's death, disability, or general disease. The insurance company will look after all of the bills of the children in terms of education. Okay, but what happens, we always want everybody to have long full lives. So what happens if the parent doesn't die and, has a long full life? So a lot of companies, because it's risk-based, once you turn 18, you lose that benefit. The other life companies that say, okay, you've paid all this while you were a responsible parent. Here's a portion of those funds back that you can use to fund your kids' education. It wouldn't be 100%. That's where the unit trust comes in. So multiple pots to fund your kids' education. All right, so I think it needs to be a blend. The earlier you start, the less you're putting in. And then just plan carefully. Is it wise to pay extra in one's pension fund at this time? How poor can you go on it? It just depends how old you are. I think if you're younger, I would put it offshore. Offshore RAs, offshore endowments. For a lot of my clients under 35, the base of their retirement solution is offshore. We'll put in an RA in there to enjoy some tax benefits, but the base is offshore. We want to shield from the weak rand. We want to shield from high taxes. So base is offshore, and then we slot in the RA just because of those taxes. It just depends how far you are along you are, and whatever your other personal circumstances are. So I would suggest to speak to an advisor to see if you have extra money. I would rather start a tax-free investment than top up a pension. Preservation fund or RA, 52 years. Or what do you mean? I mean, if you're resigning, so if you resign, you have the option to transfer those funds out to your new company. All right. I don't recommend doing that. You also have the option to transfer it into a preservation fund or the RA. The downside of the RA is you can only access that RA at age 55. The benefit of the preservation fund is that you can make a full or partial withdrawal from that preservation fund prior to retirement. Unfortunately, a lot of advisors don't tell clients about the preservation option and put them into an RA and then manage the RA and then charge fees on top of it. But the preservation should always be the first option, because now you can control where those funds are going. You can maximize offshore. You can be very aggressive. And if you need those funds, you can make a full or partial withdrawal only in a preservation fund. If you transfer to your new employer, then you have to go into whatever fund the new employer is. the smaller companies don't have a choice. You just have to go into that one vanilla fund. So preservation, whatever you can put onto your name is ideal, because now you can control it and we can decide what funds that it can be in. Is it wise to pay lump sums into your home loan? It depends on your goals. Just know that I would encourage you, instead of thinking vertically, think horizontally. A home loan is the lowest form of lending that you can get. And you need to think about it in terms of the Fisher equation. If they give you an 11% rate on your home loan and inflation is at 6%, your actual lending rate is 5%. And then you got to ask yourself, do you really want to pay down 5%, a 5% loan? Can you take that money and put it somewhere else and get to than 5%? All right, so that's your thinking process. I can't tell you whether it's right or wrong to put it into your home loan. Okay, I'm turning 40 in December and I don't have a retirement fund. Please advise the best way forward. Once see an advisor, you need to do some calculations to try and understand what your needs are going to be during retirement, and can the alternative investments, can you put it away for retirement and it still meet your need? Because remember, again, products are not solutions. If you put it into an RA, then it's going to be locked. Then you have that 1/3, 2/3 rule. Whereas if you split it between a tax-free investment and a unit trust or even an endowment, now you have lots of options. You have the potential to grow faster than a rate that an RA can give you, because remember, an RA is Regulation 28. A tax-free investment is not, a unit trust is not, an endowment is not. So you could possibly put that same money away into the alternative funds and grow at a faster rate. You just have to have the consistency to be putting money away and the discipline not to touch it until retirement. So, a lot of our money problems are not really money problems, as in we don't have enough. The real problem is our behavior. And if you fix the behavior, you can really live with any amount of money. Okay, I'm under 35 and I want to retire by 40 years or 45, the latest. Okay, if you want to retire by 40 or 45, you have to look at other sources of income that you can be trying to secure now. Things like rental income. Again, unit trust, tax-free investments. When we say we want to retire, traditionally in the industry, it means at age 55, you can access your traditional retirement funds. But the reality is you can retire at any time that your passive cash flow matches up with your active cash flow. Because now you don't have to go out and work every day. Your rental income is coming in, your unit trust income is coming in, your interest income is coming in. You don't really need active income. So you don't need to work for money because your assets are paying you. So you need a very aggressive plan. You're under 35, it can be done. And you need a very aggressive plan. You need to have a lot of discipline. And yeah, you can do it. I don't know, 40, maybe 45. Should I get a provident fund or invest? Now, remember, you can't get a provident fund. To get into a pension or provident, now the provident fund actually functions as a pension fund. So for you to get a pension fund, there must be an employee-employee relationship. If you want something on your personal capacity, where the rules are the same, it works basically the same. It's your RA that you take on in personal name. Okay, so and that's basically it. Or do you mean should you withdraw your provident fund? I'm not sure. Your question is not clear. Okay, any more questions? Can type it up. If not, I'm gonna go watch some Netflix. Do you offer one-on-one consultations, and how much is it to make an appointment? All right, so I'm a fit and proper financial advisor. I'm licensed to operate in South Africa. I'm the director of Solomon Wealth. As an advisor, yes, we sell products. I'm affiliated. I'm an independent advisor, work with multiple houses in the country. But my philosophy as an advisor is that my primary service is financial strategy. And because I do that, I come up with strategy, and financial products are just pieces of the puzzle that needs to be put in, which I will tell you about. And because strategy is my main service, there is a fee. there's a different fee depending on your needs. So you can go into my website. It's www.solomonwealth.co.za. Click the Get Started button. There's a lot of nice information in there, some minimum criteria that you got to meet, and you can book a complimentary 15-minute call. We can chat a little bit about your needs, exactly what you need. Can I help you? Am I the right person? Because at times I'm not the right person, and I'll gladly tell you that I'm not the right person. I could recommend somebody. Or sometimes I'll even tell you, nobody can help you. You need to fix your behavior. All right? Your money behavior. So book that 15-minute free call, and then we can chat and we can see how I can help you. I was declined life cover. Please advise an alternative. Okay, so it depends on who declined your life cover and why. Okay, depending on the nature of the ailment that you have and you were declined, other top tier companies might not be able to cover you. All right. The next thing I would do, if one of my clients were declined by a top tier company, I would try and get some of the B grade. Well, I call them B grade. Don't be offended if you work at these companies that they're B grade. I would say companies that cover it's not so healthy people, right? And I would put people like Clientele in that bracket and Honored Life in that bracket. So try them if you can get cover there. But remember, you gotta be honest with everybody. If you're declined somewhere, you need to tell these companies that. So try those B grade providers, and hopefully you can get some help. Does the two-part system include GEPF? Can I withdraw? No. Right. Yes, it includes GEPF. You cannot withdraw 100,000. The cap is 30,000, and it's a once-off 30,000. Everything else from the 1st of September, it will go into a 1/3, 2/3 split, and that 1/3 pot in a year's time you'll be able to access. Once a year you can make a withdrawal. Yeah, sure, Roland, no problem. Okay, yeah, so remember that this is financial education. It's not financial advice. Financial advice is when somebody, an advisor sits with you, understands your goals, your priorities, your circumstances, whatever it is they're trying to achieve, and then we come up with a solution customized to you and your unique circumstances. That's advice. This is just general questions that I'm asking. It's not financial advice. Please don't go and act on anything that I say. The goal here is, one, to pique your interest, to go explore more, go nag your advisors a little bit more on how they can come up with solutions for you, and take some of the ideas that I've shared and ask them, will this work for me? If it will work for me, can we go ahead with it? If it won't work for me, tell me why. Understand the products that you have and the strategies that you have in place. Can you type the website in the comment section? Uncle Timmy, I have no idea how to use this thing. I can't even see a comment section here. DM me and I'll send you the link. It's www.solomonwealth.co.za, or go to financiallyfabulousfemales.com, click on the Invest Now button. It'll take you to the same place. Substandard lives. Thank you. So those big red companies, Clientele and Holland, they are more friendly with substandard lives rather than the top tier companies. Yes, thank you, Varsha. Solomon Wealth. Okay, so Varsha has typed it up. solomonwealth.co.za. Okay, so no other questions. It's going to be me and Netflix for the rest of the night. All right, cool. So if you want to chat some more, go to solomonwealth.co.za and we can chat one-on-one. You guys have a good night, and don't forget to check out my YouTube channel if you like the content here. A lot of the videos that you see are little snippets, 45 seconds, 1 minute. If you want to see the long form, the full explanations, go to my YouTube channel, Financially Fabulous Females. There's over like 400 videos there. It's content that's curated to the South African market, the South African financial systems, not a strategies that I share, and hope you find value. Have a good one.